Offset has been making his rounds because he's dropping his latest album. And so on his latest round on the podcast, he stated that marriage is not for men, basically, right? So he went around and said that marriage was not for him. He don't encourage anybody to get married. He went on to say that he felt like it was a mission. He completed his mission. He had 3 kids and mission complete. He's all done and don't advise the next generation to do so. And so there's some pushback and from the community in general pertaining to this. But I would love to get your thoughts in regards to his assessment that marriage is not for the men.
Listen, for most guys, especially, I think guys, average earning. I think marriage is definitely the way to go. It's the quickest way to build wealth. In most cases, in his case, yeah, you know what, it may not make that much sense, but I don't think that's a good way to go. Aside from the money piece, you're not going to build Wakanda with a bunch of baby mamas. That's just not going to happen.
You sure?
I'm reasonably certain. I could be wrong. It could have baby mama Wakanda and Brittany Reynolds in charge of it. But aside from that, yeah, I think for most guys, in most cases, all the measurable metrics show that you generally get better outcomes as a man when you're married. So, at best, I don't think the indictment of marriage, is a cause of poor vetting. That's why people get bad outcomes. But I don't think it's an issue with the institution in and of itself. So I think he was encouraging better vetting, uh, you know, looking into things, asking the right questions. I think that's the better way to go than just, fuck it. Nobody get married and we'll just all be in situationships. I don't think that's helpful because that's what we are now and that's not working out for everybody.
I think a reluctance to really black men to engage Offset in this conversation because we have to give him bad news. You know what I mean? And it's the bro code at its finest, working at its best, because we don't run to tell a bro when, like, man, this look, hey, stop. Although apparently some people did come out and say it because it needed to be said. And unfortunately, I hate to join to the chorus. I'm going to try to find a different chord to strike. And so my chord to strike with Offset is this. Look, you hurt, bruh. You hurt. Marriage doesn't work out for men who do it the way you did it. I think that's a statement you can make. I think anything broader than that is ineffective. I think to all the hurt men out there, your story is valid, okay? Your pain is valid, okay? What you went through, the way she was, everything she did, what you learned, all that's real, bruh. But that's your story, okay? And it's the result of certain decisions that you've made. Now, I made decisions too, okay? But you gotta know when to look at it and go, hey, man, some of this is on me. And I don't think there's enough of that happen. That self-accountability. You know what I mean? Sometimes we pick the wrong one, or sometimes we pick the right one, but we're not ready to be the right person. You know what I mean? He's an entertainer. He's in a entertainment industry that's surrounded with women and all sorts of temptations. And even if it's not a rapper, it's a businessman. It's a stockbroker. It's somebody who got his game together, right? Everybody out there is bait for somebody else trying to pick him up, right? And he didn't handle it as well as some of us might have. Maybe he should have worked out a different negotiation contract with his partner or whatever. But for him to make a blanket statement that says men shouldn't get married or marriage isn't for men, marriage isn't really for men. It's supposed to be for both of them. It's really supposed to be for the family. So that's a whole other conversation. So yeah, Offset, you're right, but you're wrong, bro. It's all right. You hurting right now. You can call me. I counsel people. Go ahead, Joe.
First, I want to acknowledge where my good brother Offset is accurate here. I think it's accurate for him to say it's not right for him at this point of his life, right? So if he says, listen, I was married, I had 3 kids, and so I did marriage, I think that's okay, right? And it saddens me because sometimes I understand Mananese, if that's even a word, if I can make it up, right? Because you got to be able to see past, I think, what he is saying. Now, to you guys' point, the hurt may be part of what he's speaking to, but I think there's some legitimacy in regards to what he's speaking to. Like, for example, if you are a man who is of means, then you might look at marriage differently. And should you? Because there's more risk there, right? If you're a man who's been married before, had the kids thing, right? And now you're looking at life, maybe marriage isn't for you. And that's okay. Right? I think what it stems from is this idea that because your marriage didn't last forever, you was a failure. And so now, because you feel like you failed at something while acknowledging that you did it, you want to try to look out for brothers because you don't want them to go through that failure. Right. And I think what we have to be able to do is change the narrative, because let's say they had 10 years, 3 kids, their kids were great, they were able to co-parent. Is that a failure for real? Like, if we didn't look at divorce, I get it. It's supposed to last forever. But I think if we change the sting that comes with divorce, especially for men, because men often shoulder the responsibility of a failed marriage. In this particular case, Offset did, right? Because yes, he cheated, and we can point at his indiscretions, but do we know hers? Right? Do you know the arrangement that they had? So for him, he's saying, you know what? Oftentimes it's not a great situation for men and men like me. But I agree that people have to be very thoughtful in regards to their advice or what they're saying, because there's a lot of men who's going to hear him and think he's talking to y'all and he's not. Right? Not only do you not have the same amount of money or the amount of clout, I guess, or claim or access to women, hell, you barely got a woman now. So to think that somehow he's talking to you and he's not, I think that's where these conversations become problematic. But I do think that for him and people of his ilk, people who have been married, men of means, I can see many of them. Oftentimes, I wonder, if I were to get divorced, would I get married again? Because what would be the point if it's not about building family? And if I already have enough money to already create a legacy with the 17,000 kids I already have? So I can totally understand where he's coming from. We got to be fair about that. But we also got to be fair that for a lot of men, marriage is a wonderful thing. And we just got to speak to those men more often than we speak to the other. And that's what I got.